X-Men Schism just kind of wrapped up, a 5-issue series. Amazing. It was so powerful. And the beginning, it started so fun and light. And then kind of...
that was the idea. Obviously, you see the title of the book, you know kind of where it's going and what's going to happen, and there was no secret that we were going to end up with 2 factions of X-Men by the end. But I really like the idea that we started out with Wolverine and Cyclops, you know, as much as good friends as we've ever seen them. I mean, they've always kind of been
I've never seen them so, like, close and talking about it, and it was
right. I mean, that was fun to write those few pages in issue 1.
Couple panels where they were like...
Right, it's kind of good-hearted banter. You know, and things quickly start to fall apart from there, and so by issue 4 into issue 5, they're absolutely going at each other's throats.
Yeah.
That was the fun, just to go on that journey, even though we knew where it was headed, and hopefully people enjoyed the ride to get there.
That's what was so great about it, is we knew the outcome, yet we were still along for every single issue and eating it up. So that's a testament to how
helps, well... it helps when you've got guys like Frank Cho and Alan Davis and, amazing group of artists.
The art was amazing. It was really phenomenal. But... what's great about it is that it also spawned questions of whose side are you on? You know, are you a Wolverine guy or Cyclops side?
Right. Well, I mean, it was great. I mean, obviously we see that play out in the midst of the X-Men, the Regenesis one-shot that just came out that Kieran Gillen did so great on. We see different X-Men choosing their sides, but
it was like picking teams for kickball or something.
Exactly. Well, that's what me and Kieran got to do. Is we got to pick our X-Men teams and then fight about who wanted.
And he also teased it too, where you thought the White Queen might go with Wolverine for a second there. You're like, what?
You're right. Dangle it in front of you and snatch it away. But it was great. And as I was doing Schism, I would go online and poke around message boards and see what people were saying and find threads that were 100 pages long of people arguing Scott's sides versus Logan's side, and that was great. I mean, that's exactly what everybody in the X office wanted. We wanted both sides to have merit, and nobody comes out of this as a villain. I mean, we come out with 2 very legitimately different X books. I mean, Kieran's book has a completely different tone and flavor than my book, and it's not just gold team and blue team or whatever. It's 2 very different objectives and 2 very different kind of books, and that's what we wanted all along. Yeah,
it was funny because I was leaving the con yesterday, and there was these people, and I was with some friends who aren't really comic book nerds, and they were like, "Oh my God, are those people going to fight?" And I was like, "No, they're just fighting. They're having a heated discussion about X-Men Schism." So it was.
You saw these people having this?
Yeah, they were getting into they were really getting into it, and it's just great that people can be so passionate about it, but still be on board, because a lot of comics, when they say this is going to change the face of a team, there's usually like, oh, I hate this decision because it kind of changed the character for me. It's still keeping the core of what the characters are, but they came to something where they can't agree and they have to go our separate ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I wasn't trying to do something that changed who either one of these guys were.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm doing with Wolverine and Wolverine the X-Men is putting him in a position he's obviously uncomfortable with. I mean, he's wearing a suit and tie, working at a school, teaching kids. He has an office with his name on the door and a desk with piles of papers on it, and is not in any way what Wolverine... No, it's never what he wanted for himself, never what he foresaw for himself, but he made this choice in Schism and has taken this group of X-Men in a new direction, has taken responsibility for these kids.
Yeah.
So it puts him in that very awkward role. And as a writer, that's fun to write, to take that character who's been through all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I put him through all sorts of crazy stuff.
You really did.
Right. So, I mean, it's nice to put him in a place that he's never been and watch him squirm. And, he's still Wolverine. He's still got big claws, and he pops them and stabs people. And if anything, he feels it's more important that he be who he is, that he go out and lead X-Force and do all that kind of stuff to keep all these troubles from coming to the school.
Wow.
Then he's got to go clean his claws off and teach
and then put the tie back on. Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about Hulk. Give us a preview of what's going to be coming up with that.
Well, Hulk #1 comes out the same day as Wolverine the X-Men #1.
Wow. You're competing against yourself.
Exactly. Well, you can always buy both, right?
Yeah.
So that'll be a good day for me, hopefully. Yeah, Hulk is, it's like Wolverine the X-Men. It's some of the same stuff you've seen before with a twist on it. The book focuses in again on Hulk and Banner and that dynamic that's driven Hulk stories for, decades now.
Yeah.
But it's a bit different in that they're split apart. They've gone their separate ways. We don't know how this happened at first. It's kind of teased and unfold as we go along. And we see them drawn back together, and we quickly find out that Hulk's all-time greatest arch nemesis is probably his alter ego, Bruce Banner.
Wow.
We see them, lock horns and butt heads in a very real way.
That's awesome. And you mentioned what it's like to work with great artists before. Mark Silvestri's coming out for this. This has got to be amazing.
That's not a bad artist.
Oh,
to have
man, it's unbelievable.
Number one issue. Yeah, it's great. I mean,
Was that part of the hitch? The part of the pitch to you, like, hey, listen, we're gonna have Mark Silvestri, and you were like, sure.
Well, I mean, they had me at Hulk. I mean, they didn't have to sweeten the deal, but thankfully they did. Yeah, it's been amazing working with Mark. The pages he's doing. I knew the first 3 pages of Hulk #1. I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. This is some really amazing Hulk art. So yeah, I'm super jazzed to have Mark on board, and I've just tried to give him all sorts of craziness and wackiness and probably painstaking stuff to draw that he probably hates me for. But it looks great.